It should probably be mentioned for the benefit of the listener that we are recording on Lewis's birthday.
Oh, yeah, we are, aren't we?
So happy birthday, Lewis.
Thank you.
Getting pretty old there.
Yeah, 22, that's old, yeah.
That's the age that I am.
I look forward to turning 23 because that's one of the lost numbers, but then after that, there's nothing exciting until, 42.
By nothing exciting, you mean no lost numbers.
Right, pretty much.
The only exciting things.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's cool when you turn 18 because you're you can, I don't know, drive or something? No, wait, that's a different age. Well, that varies by state. But, I don't know. What's cool about 18? You can buy cigarettes.
And lottery tickets or pornography.
Ah, yes, that's right.
You can also vote.
Yes, that's the big one, usually.
Speaking of which, we're recording this the day before Election Day.
It's so significant.
And the day after Halloween.
Yes.
Hi, this is Tom Dickinson of the Cloister Room. As you've probably gathered already, this material was recorded back on November 1st, but here it is, appearing on your feed in mid-December. My intrepid co-host Lewis Midas and I decided while recording episode 13 that we would be taking the month of November off for reasons that will become clear over the course of this short mini-episode of the Cloister Room. However, I got a little bit carried away in my whole time off thing, and I never even edited episode 13 despite having recorded it. This mini-episode mainly just exists to let you know what we should have let you know a month ago. It doesn't even contain any of our usual podcast material. That will be in episode 13, which I hope to release later this week. In that episode, you'll hear our discussion of Doctor Who, Amy's Choice, the Sarah Jane Adventures, Death of the Doctor, and the recent news about the Battlestar Galactica spin-offs. Well, recent at the time of recording, anyway. I hope you enjoy this mini-episode despite its lack of our usual discussion about Doctor Who and other things. Maybe you figure you shouldn't even bother listening to this. It's just a waste of your time. You can just delete this podcast. We'd never know, would we? But let me assure you, I'd know. Oh, I'd know. I'd feel it. And I'd hold it against you, and maybe one day, when you least expect it, you'll pay for your callousness. Oh, you'll pay dearly. Thank you, and please enjoy this mini-episode of The Cloister Room. I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Lewis Midas.
And this is The Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things. Yeah, and then there's 21 where you get to drink, obviously. And then, nothing.
Maybe we should space those things out a bit better.
Yeah.
Which ones would you want us to delay?
Well, okay, better idea. How about instead of spacing the ones that we've already got out, let's just invent more restrictions and then have those get unlocked later in life.
What now? Okay, so what are you suggesting we restrict?
I don't know. Maybe some sort of...
Wouldn't it be better just to, invent new good things, but only give people access to them as they age?
Okay, alright, I could see that. Well,
like jetpacks.
you get your jetpack license at 30.
Yeah, and jetpacks exist, they're just not practical for civilian usage.
Yeah, James Bond had one in, the 70s.
And Boba Fett did a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Right, exactly.
As you certainly know, and as the listener may or may not know, November is National Novel Writing Month, in which we try to write an entire novel in just 1 month. Mm-hmm. Or we each try to write a novel. We don't all collectively try to write a single novel.
That would be much easier.
The logistics would be quite hard.
That's true.
But the workload would be very distributed.
Indeed.
Maybe we should put the podcast on hold throughout the month of November. I know I said zombie special next week, but... editing is really hard.
No, and I understand. And, I don't know. I was going to suggest that maybe I could do some of the editing, but I mean...
If you want to learn, I think, now that you're 22...
Now, I'm not suggesting that be done in lieu of putting this on hiatus.
Well, I was thinking maybe a short hiatus, and then the zombie special would be our resurrection.
Ooh.
See, we could totally recontextualize, because the whole zombies for Halloween doesn't make sense because it wouldn't be released until like the middle of the month anyway.
Right.
I'm willing to force it to make sense if that allows me to be lazy.
You know, I'm all for that.
Hey, since we mentioned NaNoWriMo, what's your novel about, Lewis?
My novel is very strange. It's kind of a comedy sort of satire thing, or at least I hope it will be. And it's kind of about this comedian guy, and I've decided he might kind of be a bad comedian because I don't want to take the time to write like good stand-up comedy, so I'm just gonna like, whenever I need to insert something about his comedy, it's gonna be pretty bad. But anyway, so he's a bad comedian, and he kind of gets abducted by aliens, and these aliens he discovers think that Earth is kind of like this big joke, and he discovers that like most of the universe feels this way, and so it's pretty much about him trying to get the Earth to be more serious, and so in the hopes that the aliens will start taking Earth seriously. And I call it Get Serious.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
Huh.
It's probably going to turn out terribly, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. I can't really say, because as a long-time NaNoWriMo participant, I know that sometimes these things just do turn out terribly. And for me to say, no, I'm sure it's going to be great, would be dishonest, because even a good idea, and I think that sounds like a very funny idea. Mm-hmm. Now I'm saying I think you're going to fail. Lewis, I think you're going to fail. I feel like that's the direction that this sentence has gone in, so I feel like I need to embrace it.
All right.
Lewis, you are going to fail. I've barely started my novel. The concept is that it follows two characters. One is an assassin who is killing all the immortals, and the other is someone who is trying to track down the person who is killing all the immortals. And the title is Immortals Must Die! !
An exclamation point's important.
Yeah. And mine's also vaguely comedic. I mean, all I've written so far is the assassin character who is on the phone with tech support for a piece of software she is using in the assassination, and she's very frustrated because the tech support has been outsourced to the astral plane, and she can't understand what they're saying because they're so beyond our worldly concerns. And, I mean, that's all I've really got so far.
That sounds awesome, actually.
I don't know. I feel like that in and of itself would be a better idea for a novel.
Tech support from the astral plane.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to stick with my existing idea.
No, I like the idea of your novel. I think that sounds really cool.
Thank you. You don't think I'm doomed to failure?
No, I don't think so. And also, I've read some of your writing in the past, so I know how good you are. So,
well,
I think you're doomed to succeed.
Curses. It's not easy, you know.
No, I know.
Yeah, I haven't read any of your writing, any of your fiction writing.
Right.
Sometimes you blog into that, and I read your tweets, some of which are fictional, actually.
Yes, very true.
I've read tons of your fiction, Lewis. Anyhow, want to talk about things that are pertinent to the podcast?